Her phone buzzed 3 times before she even walked through the door. That's what did it for me, the third buzz. It wasn't loud, just a faint vibration against the countertop, but it hit like thunder in the silence of our kitchen. I'd been standing there for nearly an hour staring at the clock, waiting for her to come home from the gym. Spin class ran late, she texted. But the class ended at 8. It was past 10 now. When the front door finally opened, I felt my chest tighten. There she was, Maya, flushed cheeks, ponytail damp, wearing the same gray leggings and black tank she always wore to the gym. But something was off. Her eyes widened slightly when she saw me standing there, hands in my pockets trying to look calm. "Hey," she said softly. "You're still up?" "Yeah," I replied. My voice was steady, too steady. "Wanted to talk." She smiled faintly, tossed her gym bag by the door and walked to the fridge. "Can it wait till morning? I'm exhausted." "Sure," I said. Then I pointed to the counter where her phone buzzed again. "But maybe your phone can't." Her hand froze midair. For a moment we just stood there. The hum of the refrigerator the only sound between us. I could see her throat move as she swallowed, the flicker of panic in her eyes before she forced a casual laugh. "It's probably Jenna," she said. "She's been texting about." "About what?" I interrupted. "Your spin instructor? The one who keeps you after class for private stretches." That's when it happened. Her face went pale, her mouth opened, but no words came out. Just silence. The kind of silence that tells you everything you were afraid to know. "How long has this been going on?" I asked quietly. She didn't answer. I used to think silence was peaceful. When we first got married, we'd sit together for hours in quiet comfort, reading, watching the sunset from our porch, no words needed. But this silence? This was suffocating. Maya looked down at her hands, her fingers trembling slightly. "Daniel, it's not what you think." "Then tell me what it is," I said. "Because from where I'm standing, it looks exactly like what I think." Tears welled in her eyes. "It was just a mistake. I didn't mean for it to happen." I let out a short, bitter laugh. "You didn't mean to? What, you tripped and fell into him?" She winced, and for a second I hated myself for saying it. But anger was the only thing keeping me from falling apart. She tried to explain. Something about loneliness, how we'd grown distant, how she felt unseen. I'd heard the script before. I'd seen it in movies, read it in online confession posts. But hearing it from her, from the woman I built my life around, felt like being stabbed slowly. "Maya," I said, my voice breaking, "I gave you everything. Every ounce of trust one had. You could have told me you were unhappy. You could have said something." "I know," she whispered. "I know, Daniel. I messed up. It wasn't supposed to be anything more than." "More than what?" I cut in. "A distraction? An escape?" She didn't reply. She just sat there, shoulders shaking, eyes fixed on the floor. That night I slept on the couch. Not because she asked me to, but because I couldn't stand to be near her. I stared at the ceiling, replaying every late-night text, every extra gym session, every subtle change in her behavior that I'd brushed off. The way she smiled at her phone sometimes. The sudden need for privacy. The new perfume she claimed was on sale. It all made sense now, like puzzle pieces snapping cruelly into place. The next morning I found her in the kitchen making coffee. Her eyes were red, her voice small. "Can we talk?" I didn't want to, but I nodded. She told me his name, Ethan. Her personal trainer. It had started a few months ago, she said. "After your dad passed," she added, as if that somehow justified it. That was the worst part. While I'd been grieving, she'd been seeking comfort elsewhere. "I didn't plan it," she said again. "He just listened. He made me feel alive again." I wanted to scream, to throw something, but instead I just said, "You could have come to me." Her eyes filled again. "You were gone even when you were here, Daniel. You shut down after your dad died. I tried to reach you. I wanted to argue. I wanted to remind her of the nights I cried silently beside her, of how she turned over instead of holding me. But the truth was I had shut down. Grief had swallowed me whole. And somewhere in that darkness I lost her. But losing her to someone else? That was a different kind of death. Over the next few days, the house felt like a museum of what used to be. Every photo, every piece of furniture carried ghosts. She stayed with her sister for a while, giving me space. But space didn't heal. It only gave me more room to drown in questions. Did he touch her the way I used to? Did she laugh with him the way she used to with me? Did she ever think about what she was destroying? The answers came in waves of nausea and rage. I started seeing a therapist, not to save the marriage, but to save myself from the bitterness eating me alive. I told her I didn't know if I could ever forgive Maya. She said forgiveness isn't for the betrayer. It's for the betrayed. But some nights forgiveness felt impossible. 2 weeks later Maya came back to talk. I ended it with him, she said. I'm not asking you to forget, but I want to fix this. Please. I studied her face, tired, remorseful, maybe even sincere. But something inside me had shifted. The love was still there, buried under pain and disappointment, but it felt different, fragile. Do you love him? I asked. She shook her head quickly. No, it wasn't love. It was confusion. I lost myself for a while. I nodded slowly. You lost us too. We sat in silence again. The kind that used to be peaceful, but now just reminded me of everything we couldn't say. Finally I said, I don't know if I can come back from this, Maya. You broke something I don't know how to fix. Tears rolled down her cheeks. Please don't give up on us. I wanted to. I wanted to say we'd rebuild, that love was enough. But I'd spent weeks living in the ashes of her choices, and all I could see was smoke. That night I packed a bag. As I zipped it shut, I heard her footsteps behind me. Where will you go? She whispered. I don't know, I said honestly. But I need to find out who I am without all this. She reached for my arm, but I stepped back. I loved you more than I loved myself, I said quietly. And that's how I missed the signs. I won't make that mistake again. Her lips trembled. Daniel, please. I didn't let her finish. I just nodded once, grabbed my bag and walked out. The night air was cold, sharp against my skin. As I got into the car, I looked back at the house one last time. The home we built, the memories we made, the life we ruined. And for the first time since it all began, I felt something like peace. Not because the pain was gone, but because I knew it would no longer own me. Sometimes love doesn't end in rage or revenge. Sometimes it ends in silence. The same silence that started it all.